Well, hello man cavers, it's been a week. Lots to tell you, more of that as we go through this video. Anywho's, we're going to do a bit on the list to be today. Now then, you've seen this, so let's roll the credits and get on with it. Ha ha! Welcome to the man cave. Let the games begin. So man cavers, we are going to get on with the list to be. What are we doing today? Well, we're going to do a series of videos on this engine, like I told you. I have lots to tell you, by the way. Anyhow, today we're going to remove the fuel tank, the fuel pump, which is under there, the magneto, carburetor. And then, over the next week or so, I shall be doing videos of repairing or sorting out each one of them items. So there'll be a video on the magneto, a video on the carburetor, a video on the fuel tank, and other bits and pieces. And then, at the end of today as well, once we've got all them bits off, we will get some petrol and a paintbrush and just brush this engine right down. Am I going to remove the flywheels? Oh, look at that keyway. Let's just look at it. Look at that key. Now that tells me one of two things. Someone in the past has tried and failed to remove that key and they're unable to get it off, or they've had it off and whelped it back on. Am I going to attempt to get that key out? I mean, look at the state of that key. No. The engine runs, you've heard it run. I know it makes it a lot more awkward to paint, but it's doable. I can paint this engine with the flywheels on and it will still look absolutely splendid. I do not want, I mean, it's even chewed up around here, look, around this flange around here. Look how flat that all is. Look where someone's been hitting on that. So am I going to upset the apple cart by trying to take this off? The engine runs perfectly in balance. It runs perfectly nice. We're leaving them flywheels alone. I mean, look, there's even a chunk been gone out there. So, stop waffling on, Fen, and get on with some work. Right, I have set up the spanners we need to actually start stripping this thing. I know, I should be using Whitworth or AF spanners, but a lot of you guys who might be getting into this probably haven't got AF spanners. I have got AF spanners, but to be honest with you, I work better with metrics. I know if I need one bigger, I've got to go 18 to 19. I can understand measuring a lot better. So we're using metric spanners. If you've got a nut what's extremely tight and you need a really precise fit, then maybe use AF. But I have a sneaky feeling for an engine like this, metrics are going to be fine. Here are the sizes we are using. 14mm, 18mm and 21mm. And on there, on the ratchet, is a 15mm socket. So with all of that, I think it'll get the thing to pieces. I didn't check if that fits the carb bolts. No, it doesn't. So I need another one for the carb bolt. I missed that one. Anyhow, let me get you set up in the tripod and we'll get some bits removed. Back in a moo. So, we're going to get this fuel tank off, which means we need to get off this fuel pipe down here, off the bottom of the fuel tap, and this one up here. This one down the bottom here, 14mm. Come straight undone, look. Spin him undone, because this pipe needs to come off with the fuel pump. It's going to be a lot easier to take the fuel pump off with the pipes connected. So that pipe is off. Our 18mm should undo this one. Come on, girl. There we go. Here we go. And this is all undoing, which is really good. Anyhow, the news I've got. Do you remember a couple of videos ago I said I was getting rid of my rally caravan because me and Mrs. Mancave were going to get a van? Well, guess what? Day before yesterday we bought a van. And also guess what? It is being delivered today. In fact, it should be here in about 2 hours. Now then, before you guys go expecting some bright and shiny Ford Transit with a full MOT 3 years old, think again. We're talking Man Cave here. Man Cave doesn't buy anything that's ready to go. Man Cave buys a project because number one, I like to buy stuff cheap and I like to buy stuff that needs work. I don't find it any fun buying something that's already ready, if you know what I mean. What van have we gone for? Well, we did look at a couple. We looked at Renault Masters and Mercedes Sprinters and Volkswagen Crafters were just such horrendous money and total rot boxes. Oh wow, look at this. Yeah, I'm afraid an old Sprinter or a Crafter or an LT were just total. I couldn't believe the state of them and the money people were asking for them. You know, MOT failure vans were like stupid money still. So, after much humming and jawing, I decided I wanted a long wheelbase Iveco Daily. One of the Mark III ones, and I'll tell you for why. Years ago I lived in Kent for a few years and I had a job as a recovery driver. And I drove an Iveco Daily. And when I started with that firm, the one I drove was an old T-Reg one, which would have been about a 98, and that was a Mark II Daily. And then they upgraded the fleet and got a Mark III, and I remember in the year 2000 I got a brand new Mark III X-registered Iveco Daily, and I couldn't believe how nice it was to drive. Admittedly it was brand new. Well, that stuck with me because I've driven no end of vans and that was by far the nicest. So I thought, yeah, we need a long wheelbase Iveco Daily van. And we have got one, and it's coming today. I will show you around this van when it gets here. But I say it's a project. It hasn't been on the road for 3 years. Somebody had started to convert it to a day van, so I've done a lot of donkey work. We'll get to that when we get to the van. We're talking about van now, we need to be talking about Lister. Where are we? Here we go. Right, we have our fuel tank and fuel strap off. Let's now get our fuel pipe off. Which one are we going to take off? This one at the back here, look. Should be 21mm. Oh, is that going to come off? Have we got to hold that as well? I think we've got to do some holding. Come on. There we go. There we go. So you need an 18 to hold the top. There we go. There's one of our fuel lines out the way. Excellent stuff. And we're probably going to need to do the same thing on this one. There we go. There we go. So yes, the new format, like I said, is going to be doing this engine up one piece at a time, one video at a time. That way we're not going to be all over the place. And I bet you've been thinking, what's Mr. Man Cave been doing for the last week? He ain't been posting videos. Well, you probably knew that I'd been covering a little bit of security work for a buddy of mine to help him out. And it's involved quite a few 12 or even 14-hour night shifts. So I've been working quite a few nights, and I've been sleeping through the days a lot. So that's why I haven't been about so much. So we've got the fuel pipe off there. This one can stay connected. Let me get a spanner for this carb. Alright, here we go. We have spanner for the carb. First thing though is remove this little cotter pin out of here and disconnect this linkage. So we'll get our needle nose pliers, squeeze this little split pin up and remove him. He's out. Remove our little pin and let this, there you go. That throttle is now disconnected. So now we can undo this carb and lift him off. Here we're going to use a 5/8 spanner. I think somebody is definitely putting on original nuts on here. But cross thread's better than no thread. No, I don't think they've gone on crossed. They're coming undone easily. But somebody has definitely been twiddling with this engine before. Definitely. And again, this engine, this carb was held on with 2 bolts. There's 2 missing on this one, just how my other Lister B is. So it must be, guys, how these come, because all the people I spoke to have said there's always bolts missing there and there. So why did Lister put 2 extra holes in the carb if they weren't going to use it? Maybe this carb was used on several Listers and some of them had different bolt patterns. Who knows? Here we go, we're coming now. So we've got our petrol pipes off the carb. Cool. Can't get my fingers quite in there. And are we going to take the cylinder off this in the head? Nope. Because it looks very much like this cylinder has been replaced at some point. Come on, carb. So everything's disconnected off that. That should just pull off. There we go. There is our carb. With the block and everything. Excellent stuff. Now, let's get our magneto off. Now we know where the timing marks are because they are very pronounced on this flywheel. There they are. Spark. Spark and TDC is here. So we line this mark up with the mark on the block between the valves, and at that point the points should just be opening. So we know how to time this up when it goes back together. So don't panic about timing your mags up. if you've got timing marks. So let me just spin these bolts out of here. Come on. There we go. That's one out. That's two out. This one's three out. We've got our HT lead disconnected, push that in, take the chain off. There's our magneto out the way. Now we want to get to the fuel pump. What is it Johnny Cash sang? The first day I got me a fuel pump, and the next day I got me an engine and a trunk. Then I got me a transmission and all the chrome. Yeah, I'm sad, aren't I? The little things I could get in my big lunchbox, like nuts and bolts and all four shocks. Yeah, it's one piece at a time, Johnny Cash. Right, it's enough of me singing. Let's see if we can get you zoomed in so you can see where these fuel pump bolts are. Let me just move my toolbox over. And I'll get you guys down here so you can see what we're looking at. Right, here's our fuel pump in here. This pipe is this one here, so it's all disconnected. And the pipe on the bottom is also disconnected. Undo these two, that should pull out. So let's get our socket and our spanner and have a go. I don't know whether I'm going to get you really that close so you can see what we're doing, but you can see them just about. Alright, that's the wrong size socket, mister. That'll do it. That will do it. So let's get our 14 mil on our extension and come and undone a treat. What about that top one? Look at that. I say this on every video. On this old stuff, it always comes undone. That's what I absolutely love about these old engines. Stuff always comes to pieces easily. So that fuel pump now should lift out. And here it is. There's our fuel pump with our pipe. There we go. We'll have a look at the markings on this thing once we get it all stripped down and we start doing that piece. So there we have it. That's about as much as we're going to get off today. So I think now we need to get some brush and some petroleum. Try and clean this block down a bit. Just see what bones we're left with this engine. Just give everything a good little tickle and clean up. Get all the crease and crud off it. Oh. And then we'll see what's going on, won't we? Let me get some stuff together. Alright, here we go, we have our pot. Now what petrol are we going to use? Petrol's nearly £2 a litre, guys. We still have the yellow stuff that come out of here. Perfect solvent for cleaning. So, this all yellow petrol. Let's tip him in our container. It stinks like varnish. I'm going to put that on the floor so I don't knock it over. But I'm going to be pretty sure that it's got a good cleaning. It's going to be good at cleaning. There you go. It'll be just as good as £2 a litre stuff, which I don't want to use just for cleaning. Recycle this old yellow stuff, boys and girls. There we go. There we go. Let's just brush a bit on there, let that soak in. And then we can get this all agitated. Agitated. That is exactly it. There we go. And see what we're all like in there. She's cleaning up actually surprisingly nicely. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. There we go. Quite impressed with that, if I'm honest. The fuel pump bolt there. There we go. Let's give her a clean all around these valves, all around this breather, all in here, all up the top here. There we go. There's some old gasket sealer, we can pull that off. There we go. Alright, let's get in these, where this fuel pump is, all on this end case of this engine. There we go. Not bad at all, mister. She's actually cleaning up quite nicely. Quite nicely indeed. There we go. There we go, look at that. Yeah, that is all cleaning up very nicely. Let's get our flight wheel so we can actually get in the back here. Let's come underneath where this fuel pump bolts on. There we go. You know, this engine's actually cleaning up. Not bad at all. Still going to paint it. So I'm not that keen on the shade of green that I've used. I don't think that looked like Lister Mid-Brunswick to me. That looks a bit too green. It might not be, it might just be the light. But I had it in my head they should be a little bit darker than this. But like I say, that might be in my head. It might be because the last engine I painted was a Ruston Hornsby and they are a lot darker colour. There we go. Let's just give this a good clean up. Whoops a daisy, here we go. There we go. So lovely weather we're having, isn't it? Saturday today. Mrs. Man Cave is sadly working. You saw a lot of Mrs. Man Cave a little while ago because she had 2 weeks off work. And so did I. So that's why you saw a bit of her. But she's back at work now. And if you wonder what she does for a living, she's a carer at a residential home. So yes, there you go. But she will be starring on a lot of the videos when we do the self-build on the camper van we're going to do, the Iveco we are now bought, which is turning up today. I keep going on about the van, but it's worth telling you that there may well be some videos on that, because we've got to do a bit of work on it all round, a bit of body work. Mechanically it seems fine, but it's done 147,000 miles, which is very low for a 2006 van. But there's no evidence that's ever had a timing belt. So we're going to do a timing belt and water pump on it. And I think I might video that, because I've watched tutorials of other people doing them, and every single person has said it's easier to take the front end off the van, so you've got plenty of room to do the job. And I mean the front bumper, the lights, the front panel and the radiator out. Basically take the front end of the van off, and then you can actually get to the front of the engine and actually do it properly. So I think that's what we're going to do. And I think I'll video that process. A lot of you guys are not into the sort of car videos I do. You're probably just here for the old engines. But some of you, or some people, might find it interesting. Or you might just like to watch me. Who knows? There you go. We're getting right in this flywheel back now. There we go. I'll admit this engine is coming to bits, or cleaning up. A lot nicer than I thought it was going to. There we go. We were just cleaning that flywheel inside. Right, I think I need to get my cloth and just wipe over this flywheel, get the excess dirt off. Then we can come round the other side of the engine and give that a bit of a clean. Let's get on these spokes. There we go. I must admit, this old girl's cleaning up quite well. She is cleaning up quite well. Very well indeed, actually. We are still going to paint it, but it is coming up surprisingly nicely. There we go. Right. Look at that. Yeah, it's quite a bit of flaky paint on there. Oh. Where's my paintbrush? Here we go. Let's get around this side. Let's just give her a little clean up in here. There we go. Yeah, this grime is actually coming off here very, very easily. Look at that. You can tell this engine's been painted at some point, because original paint don't clean up this easy. That takes some getting off that old ground in muck. But this is actually coming off very easily. Let's turn them flywheels around here and get these bearings cleaned up. There we go. More on them governor weights. All in there. There we go. Just around this side. That dirt is basically falling off, I'll be honest. It is literally falling off. There we go. Let's just buzz around this flywheel. There we go. Sorry for my silence here, I'm just concentrating on getting in these crevices. Come on back, I should have took the plug out, shouldn't I? There we go. Right, we can now give him a wipe down. Yeah, I really should have taken the plug out of this, shouldn't I? Well, there we have it. Let's get round them spokes. She's certainly got a lot more compression than I had when I got it back here. There we go. Let's come round the back of these spokes. There we are. Can you guys see what I'm doing there? Oh yes, we're getting around the back of these spokes. There we go. I think this is the last spoke. Here we are. Pretty sure that's all the spokes. And this is down this side of the engine. There we go. What's all this black sealer? It's what someone's put around that crankcase door. Look, horrible. That's going to have to come off, and we're going to have to put a gasket on there, because I don't like sealer oozing out of gaps. One of my pet hates, when someone was too idle to do it properly and make a gasket. Yeah. So there we are. This is going to be it for today's video, I think. We have basically got this thing a little bit cleaned up. And there will now be, like I said, a video of doing the mag, a video of doing the carb, a video of basically stripping this paint off here with a wire wheel, because I see some runs in here. Yeah, there we go. Let me get hold of that camera so I can address you properly and show you around our cleaned engine. It's actually come surprisingly clean. There's some flaky paint, But that engine block has actually come up quite nice, look. Little bit of crud down the bottom, but that's covered with a petrol tank, and not being funny, where the petrol leaks and sits, they always get crusty under the tank. But there we go. I bet my face is covered in petrol splatters just like my arm is. There. So, there's our lister. Next video will probably be, or will be, either doing the magneto, or the carb, or just polishing up this petrol pump. The pump actually works and doesn't leak, because we've had this engine running and I've checked it. So we won't be disassembling the pump. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, guys. So there you go. It don't leak and it pumps, so it's staying as so. Right, we're going to go. I lied, actually. The next video is going to be the van, which I'll post directly after this one. So this video will go up tonight about 6. And then I'll get the van video done as well. If I can catch the bloke bringing it on the trailer, I will. But be prepared for a shock. This is not a pretty van. It's a good 2020 van. 20 yards, 20 mile an hour, looks good. Up close, not so. But there you go. We have much work ahead of us. Right, I'm up. Bye-bye for now. Ha-ha! Lister P.